All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another episode of Just Ballin'. Definitely a Sunday episode. I did not think I was going to be coming out for you guys. I try to do 5 episodes a week, and usually they're Monday through Friday. This week, I wasn't able to get you guys an episode out Tuesday, so I had something come out yesterday, Saturday. And then, man, so much has happened since. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Luka Doncic trade again. I still have so many thoughts. I've done a rebuild. I've done a 50-minute live stream when it happened. I've done another video on the Ross channel, and I still have so many questions, thoughts, concerns. Just everything is still on my mind about this deal. I was basically like ready to go to bed. It was like 12-ish on the East Coast, and I get a notification on my phone saying like, Luka Doncic has been traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, and I'm thinking it's like a parody account, and like sometimes Twitter will like try to suggest you like other accounts, and like it could be something like that, and that happens a lot. I see that all the time. It's like Giannis has been traded to the Warriors for XX and X, and I'm like, all right, this isn't true. And then I open it, and it would usually take me to that like account, and it took me to like my profile, and then I just went on the tweet, and it was actually Shams' account, and everybody thought he was hacked, which is crazy because I've tweeted out in the past. It's funny because I remember I tweeted this, and I'll probably share some of my tweets here in this episode. I tweeted back in July of 2019. Imagine someone hacked Woj Shams' Shams' account one day. Imagine the false trades you could trade out or tweet out to make people go nuts. That's what yesterday felt like when Shams tweeted that out. And Shams, honestly, like his initial tweet, let's see how many likes it's at. It's got to be the most liked tweet possibly in, I don't know, it's up there. I don't know what is number one, but it's got 240,000 likes, 102,000 retweets. That is insane for the Luka Doncic trade that sent Luka to the Lakers. It doesn't feel real. Like, I just saw the Lakers tweet out, like, welcome to LA, Luka, and it just doesn't look real. Like, this does not look real. This looks like something somebody would make on Photoshop that's a Lakers fan. And it's like, all right, stop pipe dreaming, stop daydreaming. This isn't realistic. And it's actually happened. Luka, along with Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber, go to the Lakers. The Mavericks get AD, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And the Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino in 2 seconds to help orchestrate this deal. The Jazz actually made a trade prior to this earlier on Saturday where they basically send PJ Tucker, or they got PJ Tucker from the Clippers and helped the Clippers get under the luxury tax or help them save a little bit of money, which can allow them to go after a bigger name in the buyout market. And then, yeah, I actually don't mind them taking a flyer on Hood-Schifino. I remember doing like a 1 trade target for every team. I had the Nets going after Hood-Schifino because I think that could have been a fun spot for him in the second half of the year before he's a free agent and may not get a spot on an active roster again in his career. Like, this is his time to shine, hopefully. It's a tough league, man. It's a cold world, and they got some seconds in there. I don't know if I'm going to talk too much about that deal, but I think for memes, I may do a Jalen Hood-Schifino Jazz rebuild up on my 6 Rings of Steel channel, and it's really going to be just more so a Jazz rebuild. But yeah, I have some, like, I kind of just, like, want to go through maybe my tweets, and they can kind of refresh my thought process of just everything I want to talk about with you guys and how none of this makes sense. Like, going back to this, my tweet was here at 9:57 on the East Coast. OG, please no, which is a whole nother thing. Like, last night in the NBA, Aaron Wiggins had a career at 40-plus points. The Timberwolves, they were banged up, lost to the Washington Wizards, which is kind of shocking. And the Knicks, like, they lose to the Lakers. Big win for the Lakers and MSG, and OG suffers a scary injury, and it looks like it's a foot injury rather than Achilles, which is fantastic for that. But then you can see my reaction, or I tweeted out, holy F, Shams hacked. What? At 12:14 a.m., and I'm like ready to go to bed. I'm like, not anymore. I don't even know what to think. The Mavs traded Luka. Luka is a Laker. What the F? At 12:17, I went live for about 50 minutes on the Ross channel. And then I said, I actually don't think I'm sleeping tonight. Lakers post LeBron to some real hope with Luka, as they now have a 25-year-old. This team really went from Kobe to LeBron to Luka. Are you kidding me? That is insane, that lineage of stardom you get in the biggest market in the NBA. I thought maybe LeBron was going to get traded, which I think could make a ton of sense. I definitely proposed some ideas where it'd be like LeBron to Cleveland or LeBron to Golden State. The only 2 teams I think he would waive his no trade clause to. And basically those 2 teams had the matching salary to go after Jimmy Butler, and LeBron is making pretty much the exact same as Jimmy Butler. So there was something that like we could work out Either way, like, yeah, it would be something like that. It would be basically Levert, Strus, I think Nang and Wade or Coro could be in that trade. Either way, like LeBron, would go to, let me just move this over for you guys. But yeah, he would go to LA, or excuse me, he would go to Cleveland or Golden State. That looks like it's not happening. Chris Haynes said they're going to go through LeBron or keep LeBron. So that makes me think like there's another corresponding move for the Lakers, because this team is not great defensively. Like, they were already the 19th ranked defensive team, below average, 15th ranked net rating for having like a top 10 record in the league. And this team has no center depth anymore, because Anthony Davis is in Dallas. So you have basically Maxi Kleber, you have Jared Vanderbilt, Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes as your big men. That's not going to do wonders for you in the playoffs, especially when you have like Luka, Reeves, Connect, LeBron all on the floor at the same time, and neither one of those guys are good defenders by any means right now. But it looks like LeBron is going to stay on this team, which I'm going to talk about kind of the Lakers' future plans in the second half of this. After I get done kind of just my thought process about this trade. Initially, I said it was the biggest sports trade of all time. And we could still get a Jimmy Butler, De'Aaron Fox, Brandon Ingram trade. Like, the 2025 deadline may be generational. There's a lot of scary things here about the Mavs making this trade. Kyrie is a player option at the end of the year. You're going from somebody that's 25 years old, that has one of the greatest resumes ever, maybe the greatest resume ever for a 25-year-old. Do they even have Luka Doncic here in Basketball Reference? I don't even think so, because he hasn't played a game for them. But yeah, it still has his team as the Dallas Mavericks. Either way, Luka, 5 All-NBA first teams. He won the scoring title last year. He's had, top 5 straight top 10 MVP finishes, and is, like I said, 25 years old. He's going to be 25 for another 25 days. 3rd overall pick back in 2018. I don't even know if the Mavericks are going to retire his number anymore. Like, he gave them, 6 elite years, 6.5 in a way elite years, played 422 games. And that's it, man. That is it. So their windows right now, Kyrie's got a player option at the end of the year. I said I'm not ready for Giannis to sign with the Lakers in 2027 or Jokic, because both of them are going to be free agents. They have both, Giannis and Jokic have player options for the 2028 season, which means they could be 2027 free agents. And the Lakers, now having no AD, LeBron's going to retire. They're basically going to have a max cap spot, unless they commit to other long-term money. They will have a max cap spot for the 27 free agency period. I tweeted out this photo of Kat and Luka from the Western Conference Finals. Both of these players are now on different teams. AD, and Kyrie, both number 1 picks, playing with each other now. I thought about, what if the Mavericks made Luka available? I said, the San Antonio Spurs would be all over that to pair up Luka and Wemby for the foreseeable future. I said Vassell, Castle, Sohan, and multiple first-round picks would be on the table. And I know that the Mavericks wanted to get somebody like Anthony Davis in return, like somebody that can help them win right now. But honestly, if you were going to make Luka available, you could have gotten a generational return. I don't know, though. Once you make that player available, do you lose a little bit of leverage? I think if you try to work with one team, you could try to get your best possible package. And they wanted Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis was 30, if he was 20, he's 31, but if Anthony Davis was 28, I'd feel a little bit better about this. But he's 31, almost 32, right? And he's been more banged up than Luka has, and he's going to be 32 by the end of the year. Oh man, that's just a little scary. That is. He's been incredible this year when he's been healthy, but he's banged up right now with that foot injury, and that's a little scary for big men. I just wonder what they could have gotten. I said this is my NBA 2K, my GM shit, basically. And yeah, it's just, I thought the Mavericks could have got more. I thought they could have say Nico Harrison, the GM, was Rob, we get this deal done. Just throw in the 2031 first, or throw in Dalton Connect, or throw in a 2026 or 2028 first round swap. Throw in just one more thing. I don't think Pelinka says no. So I don't think Nico Harrison got the most he could from the Lakers. I'm fine with him targeting AD, because AD and Kyrie, I think, could be a duo that can win a title this year. We'll see how the chemistry looks. We'll see how healthy they are. But I really think they could have gotten additional draft capital. And you think that's kind of crazy that he didn't get that. I tweet out Anthony Davis is 31, Kyrie's 32 and a free agent. Their 2027 first round pick is top 2 protected to Charlotte from the PJ Washington trade. 2028 first round unprotected swap to OKC. 2029 first round pick unprotected to Brooklyn. It's now Houston. And then 2030 unprotected swap to San Antonio. Oh my God, to take on like money so they can get Grant Williams last offseason. I think the Mavericks' future is a little bit scary if they don't win with Kyrie and AD. But yeah, that was just basically my reaction about these trades. I mean, I think talking about the Mavericks, it's a little bit more interesting right now, like current day with the Mavericks, because this move is to win right now, which is funny. You're trading Luka, the third or fourth best player in the NBA, to win right now. I don't really know if AD gives you a better chance of winning this year. Obviously, the Mavericks had so many injuries this year between Luka and Gafford and Lively, and everybody's like, we kind of look through their team this year. Plenty of guys have missed multiple games. They're 26 and 23. They're still a top 10 team in terms of net rating, but we look at games played. Like Washington's missed some time, Clay's missed some time, Kyrie's missed some time, and then yeah, like Najee Marshall has missed some time as well. Yeah, Maxi Kleber is no longer. I can't believe Dwight Powell outlasted Luka Doncic over there in Dallas. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so they got to win right now. They have to win right now. If I look at this team's cap sheet going forward, we could pull up here the Dallas Mavericks. So can I sort this? I can't sort this. All right. Either way, 2027, the only players that are under contract. So not next year, the year after that. AD's final year, guaranteed of his deal. Klay Thompson's making $17.4 million, which is maybe not what you want from what you've seen this year. 9.4 to Najee, you're probably fine with that. 8.2 to Max Christie, who they get in this deal as well. Last year of Lively's rookie deal. Last year of OMP's rookie deal. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a deal to be made right now. I don't know if they'd be willing to move. Like, they'd be willing to move Klay. I guarantee that. Would they be willing to move PJ Washington? Would they be willing to move Gafford or Najee Marshall? I thought of the idea, which it's tough to do right now because you'd have to sacrifice somebody good. And we'll say that's PJ Washington. I'm sure the Pelicans would want one of the centers, but say you did Klay Thompson, you did PJ Washington, you did Dwight Powell, and you did Dante Exum. So basically, of this trade, PJ Washington and Klay Thompson are the main guys going to New Orleans. Do you try to create a big three of Brandon Ingram, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving? You're kind of looking at this team right now. They're 13th in defensive rating, 7th in offensive rating. So you would assume with this trade, I don't think their offensive rating is going to drop too much going from Luka to AD. And Luka's missed plenty of time this year. So they're still number 7 without Luka playing half the games. And they're 13th in defense. You'd have to think the defense is going to get a little bit better with Anthony Davis. So would they trade away PJ Washington, sacrificing a little bit of defense there, sacrificing a little bit of shooting in Klay Thompson, and you get Brandon Ingram? Ingram also has been banged up this year, but like I said, I think you'd create somewhat of an interesting big three. You can look to extend Brandon Ingram at the end of the year. I'm not sure where Brandon Ingram is from. He's from North Carolina. Makes sense. He did go to Duke as well. He's from Kinston, North Carolina. But you could try to re-sign Ingram, who was traded for Anthony Davis. I thought that was an idea if they wanted to look for a third option offensively, because when you're talking like Zach LaVine or Jimmy Butler, it's too much financially. It is, and you're still able to keep like all your young guys of Lively, Christie, Grimes, Hardy in this deal as well. Maybe OMP would end up being in this trade instead of like Powell or something like that. I don't know. I think that's where the Mavericks can pivot to. I think they need to add a little bit more of a surefire offensive weapon, because outside of like Ingram and I guess Kyrie, outside of AD and Kyrie, like PJ Washington, obviously spot up guy. I mean, like, they're going from basically Luka's offensive creation to AD, which is going to be a drop off because obviously Kyrie's going to have to pick up a bigger workload in the backcourt and as a primary ball handler. But I do think him and AD are going to have a fantastic pick and roll together. They wouldn't have done like Kyrie for AD, but I just think, man, I don't know. I don't mind the Mavericks team right now of of AD and Kyrie. It's just I'm scared about the future. Just because Luka is 25 years old and your future is so bright with Luka being just 25. I feel like he's accomplished so much in this league and he's not in his prime yet. And they were worried about conditioning. They were worried about paying him the Supermax at the end of the year. And I know in the finals, like, he was complaining a lot with the refs, but you're not in the finals without Luka Doncic, and he is no longer there. Like I said, I do think this team, if it's fully healthy, could make a run in the West. I do think the best team in the West is still the OKC Thunder, but I do think if you met them in the conference finals or semis, you beat them last year, now you don't have Luka, you have AD, but if this team doesn't add at the deadline, they are a great team, don't get me wrong. Like, they're number 1 in defensive rating, number 6 in offensive rating, but if Chet's banged up, if their shooting, which they've had their issues with this year, does not perform well in the playoffs, then yeah, you could beat them. You 100% could beat this Thunder team. It's just you kind of need to be healthy yourselves. And Kyrie being 32, he's going to be 33 at the end of the year. Anthony Davis is going to be 32 at the end of the year. Your time is right now. So that's why I'd be willing to like make this trade. I know it sucks moving PJ Washington. You'd probably be okay moving Gafford, but Lively's out. Like Lively's out for a little bit, and who knows if he's even going to be healthy in the playoffs. I'd probably want to hold on to Lively and Gafford, or hold on to Gafford because of the unknown with Lively. He's getting reevaluated in 4 weeks after the right ankle stress fracture. But I think that's an option. I think Ingram, I don't really know if they would want to add like a Jordan Clarkson. I mean, he shouldn't cost them that much. I'm trying to think of some offensive weapons. I don't really want Kyle Kuzma. I mean, Miles Bridges may not cost them too much. Could they go after Cam Thomas? But I don't know if you really have a nice asset that you'd want to include in that deal. I think I don't like, you're not getting like, Larry Markkanen's not getting traded at the deadline. He can't. Portland, I don't think there's anybody there that makes sense. Anthony Simons, I mean, him and Kyrie in the backcourt defensively is kind of gross. So I would say, yeah, I mean, I don't think you're getting De'Aaron Fox either. So I think it's basically, I think you go all in on Brandon Ingram. I do. I think that's the piece that you're going to be able to snag at the deadline. So that's for the Mavericks side of things. Like I said, I'm a little bit more pessimistic about their future, lack of draft capital, Kyrie and AD. How many years are we going to get in their primes together? And what if Kyrie leaves in the offseason? But hey, they win a title this year. They shut everybody up, and they'll be fine going forward. And then just talking about the LA Lakers side of things, just them going forward. Like I said, you go from Kobe to LeBron to Luka Doncic. Oh man, that makes me so jealous. Really does. Lakers fans, they don't know how good they have it. So yeah, the fact that Luka Doncic, like 25 years old, like I said, may have the best resume ever for somebody that's 25, is now in the biggest market in LA. Of course, man. Of course, right? And like Rob Pelinka may get some credit, and you know what? He should. Like the deal did go down, but Nico Harrison went to him, and he was saying in the press conference, Nico, the GM of the Mavericks, was like, hey, like, what if we did this? Like, could we do that? Like, what'd you think about this? I don't know. And it started like, he was like, they got coffee, and then this word didn't get out for 3 weeks, which I find just absolutely mind-blowing. It didn't leak, which I think is cool because this really came out of nowhere. And it's like everybody looks at their phone, or everybody sees this or hears about it. If you're out or somebody tells you the Suns bench, like you saw that video, everyone's like, what the, basically. So the Lakers, like I said, can have an open cap sheet in 2027 with Luka, Reeves, Vanderbilt, Connect, and Shake Milton being the only contracts right now, as Reeves probably not at 14.8 because that's a player option he'd opt out of. Like the fact that the Mavericks couldn't get Reeves in this deal, I think they would make this with Reeves instead of Christie. But I know this put the Mavericks under the luxury tax, but what the hell, man? I don't know. It's crazy. So Luka misses out on the Supermax extension because he's not going to be part of the Mavericks, the team that drafted him. So I think Bobby Marks had this up. Maybe not. But basically, he's going to have to sign, I think, a 3-year deal with the Lakers this offseason, similar to what Donovan Mitchell did in the offseason, because we know Donovan Mitchell missed out on the Supermax from the Jazz. The Jazz were able to get Rudy Gobert, and then he got traded. But yeah, I think Luka is going to do what Donovan Mitchell did, sign a 3-year deal with a player option, and then in that 2028 offseason, he's able, like, he'll be under contract for 2027. That player option will go away. 2028, he'll be making whatever, $50+ million. And then I think in the summer of 2029, as long as the criteria is met, he will be a 10-year veteran, which is crazy because, yeah, he'll have this year, next year, yeah, he'll have 4 more years of experience, and he could become a Supermax player, I think, in that 2029 season. So, yeah, Luka's not going to get the Supermax now, but he will in 4 years, and you'd think when he's 29, he should be just fine. You've seen all the memes that LeBron's going to get him on his like workout plan and everything like that. But yeah, this team like has Rui. They need to add a big man. I don't know if that means Rui could be moved. I don't know if that's Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber's matching salary. I'm sure like Mitchell Robinson's available. Robert Williams is available. There's definitely some centers they can look to add out there that really shouldn't cost too much going forward. So yeah, like I said, that 2027 free agency is really interesting because you have Giannis and Jokic that are there. But I just think that you're so scared, or maybe you were scared as a Lakers fan, or I was kind of scared for them. They were going to make like a bad move right now, trade a first-round pick for, I don't know if it'd be Walker Kessler or Colin Sexton, and it really doesn't get them over the hump, and they're still a first or second-round exit. But now, since they have somebody that's 25 years old, that when LeBron retires either this year or next year, he is going to be your franchise piece going forward, and you're building around Luka Doncic, which you could say is one of the easier things to do because he makes everybody around him that much better, and he elevates everybody around him. And you saw what worked in Dallas. You can try to replicate some of those things in LA. And I think you're going to have a little bit more, I guess, financial flexibility, at least going forward in free agency, because they'll have their mid-level exception. We'll see what ends up happening this offseason. We'll see what happens in the next couple of days if they go out and trade for Walker Kessler or somebody like that. If I'm the Lakers, though, I don't think this team wins a title this year. I mean, I'm looking at their defense right now on paper. It's abysmal. Unless Vanderbilt turns into a top 20 defender, but I don't see that happening that soon off the injury. But I do think this team is going to be set up very well for life after LeBron, and then they could start being a more serious contender when those times come, when Kevin Durant gets older, the Clippers stars end up kind of phasing out a little bit as well. The Dallas Mavericks stars are going to be older, and it's going to be basically Luka in LA, Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC. We all thought it was going to be like, and then obviously Wemby in San Antonio, and Jokic in Denver. It's crazy, man, that Luka Doncic is an LA Laker. So I just kind of wanted to talk about like where these teams are going forward, basically, what this all means, and just kind of my thought process and just thoughts in my head over the last 12 hours, 15 hours since this deal went down. You guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments here on YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm going to have another video on like this channel regarding this, unless the Lakers do make a corresponding move or the Mavericks. Like I said, I think the Mavericks could go out and trade for Brandon Ingram if they're going all in. Maybe it's a little bit more of a minor move, but hey, that player option for Kyrie in the offseason, them getting older, I would try to go all in right now because they're currently, the 8th seed in the West? The Dallas Mavericks are the 8th seed at 26 and 23. You want to get a top 6 spot. And with Luka banged up, like the Lakers, I mean, they just beat the Knicks without AD, but they're going to lose a little bit of depth in this trade. So for the Lakers, if there was like a corresponding move, I mean, I don't know if they would make Reeves expendable right now. That may happen in the offseason. Maybe they look to re-sign Reeves because he's homegrown. He's under still a nice contract. They're in no rush to move him. Like, I wonder if, like, Rui gets traded for Robert Williams. Like, does Rui get traded for Mitchell Robinson? Does Rui get traded for an Isaiah Stewart? Somebody like that, just to give the Lakers a little bit better rim protection going forward. None of those guys are on bad contracts. Maybe you just take a flyer on Clint Capella. Like, if we went to Atlanta, Clint Capella to the Lakers. I mean, Rui can get to the matching salary pretty easily. You could also do like Gabe Vincent and like Jared Vanderbilt. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. Like that could work financially. I would have to cut $550K from the Lakers. So there you go. You could throw in a minimum, which won't be brawny. Send Cam Reddish back to Atlanta. Like that'd be kind of funny. Like something like that, right? All for the expiring. I don't know if the Hawks would want that bad salary. I'm just saying like somebody like Clint Capella, Mitchell Robinson, Robert Williams, they can go after. Obviously, there's the Jazz connection. And I think like Dalton Connect like sucks that you would have to trade him, but you move him for Walker Kessler. That could interest Utah in making this deal, and it would work financially. So I wonder if we'll see something like that eventually happens. You guys can let me know. I think big question going forward, where do these teams go? Do you see the Lakers or the Mavericks being more active this year at the deadline? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already. Drop a thumbs up if you did enjoy, and follow the audio versions on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you weren't listening over there. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.